homework 26 together with this video walkthrough. Section 1. The Lost Puppy. Question 1. Which adjective best describes the narrator at the start of the search? Is it A, nervous, B, lazy, C, sleepy, or D, angry? The correct answer is A, nervous. Now, why is that the right choice? Well, the story uses phrases like, the long shadows made the streets feel a little spooky, which creates a sense of unease. Plus, the narrator mentions feeling a heavy knot in my stomach. Those descriptions really point to feelings of anxiety and worry, and nervous captures that feeling the best. Why are the other options wrong? Lazy doesn't fit because the narrator hurried outside, showing they were motivated to find the puppy. Sleepy isn't mentioned anywhere in the text, and there's no evidence that the narrator was angry. Concept tested, character feeling, and inference. We're figuring out how the character feels based on the words the author uses to describe the scene and the narrator's thoughts. It's like being a detective for feelings. Question 2. Why did the narrator take a torch? Was it because A, it was getting dark outside, B, the torch scared away dogs, C, the narrator wanted to signal for help, or D, Mrs. Green asked for it? The correct answer is A, it was getting dark outside. The text tells us the sky glowed orange as the sun began to set, which means it was getting dark. So taking a torch was the most sensible thing to do to see better in the dark. As for the other options, the story doesn't say anything about scaring dogs signaling for help, or Mrs. Green asking for the torch. We always have to stick with what the text actually says. Concept tested, retrieval of information and cause and effect. We're finding information in the text and understanding why the narrator did what they did. The setting sun, cause, led to the narrator taking a torch, effect. Question 3. Where did the narrator look second? Was it A, in the garden, B, behind the shops, C, at the park, or D, under the bus stop bench? The correct answer is B, behind the shops. The story uses words that show the order of events. First, I checked the park, and then next, I searched behind the shops. Next is a signal word that tells us what happened second. The park was the first place the narrator looked. The bus stop bench came last. Concept tested. Sequencing. This is all about understanding the order in which things happen in the story. Question 4. What clue finally helped the narrator find Biscuit? Was it A, a footprint in the mud, B, a faint whimpering sound, C, a neighbor's phone call, or D, a flashing streetlight? The correct answer is B, a faint whimpering sound. The story says, at last I heard a faint whimper near the bench. Underneath was the puppy. That whimpering sound led the narrator right to Biscuit. Now, the muddy footprint did point the narrator in the right direction earlier, but it wasn't the final clue. The other options aren't mentioned in the story. Concept tested, identifying key details. We're picking out the most important detail that solved the mystery of where Biscuit was. Question 5. At the end of the story, why did the narrator feel happy? Was it because A, Biscuit gave him a new toy, B, Mrs. Green promised a reward, C, Biscuit was found safe and sound, or D, he liked being called a hero? The correct answer is C, Biscuit was found safe and sound. The narrator tells us exactly why they're happy. I did not feel like a hero, but I was glad Biscuit was safe. It's all about Biscuit's well-being. Option D is wrong because the narrator specifically says they didn't feel like a hero. And the other options about a new toy or a reward aren't mentioned. Concept tested, understanding character motivation. We're understanding why the character feels a certain way by looking at what they say and do. Section 2. The rainy day lemonade stand. Question 6. Why did Tom feel disappointed when the rain began? Was it because A, their table broke in the wind, B, customers might stay away, C, the lemons were all gone, or D, he forgot the sugar? The correct answer is B, customers might stay away. Tom says no one will stop to buy lemonade now, he said sadly. He's worried that the rain will keep people from wanting a cold drink. The story doesn't say anything about the table breaking, running out of lemons, or forgetting the sugar. Concept tested, cause and effect / understanding character's perspective. We're connecting the rain, cause, to Tom's sad reaction, effect. because we understand how he sees the situation. Question 7. What clever change did Ella make? Did she A. add ice cubes to the lemonade, B. turn the lemonade into a hot drink, C. paint the stand bright yellow, or D. offer biscuits instead of lemonade? The correct answer is B. Turn the lemonade into a hot drink. The passage tells us that Ella poured the cold lemonade into a pan on the stove and made a new sign for hot lemonade. She adapted to the weather. Adding ice would have been the opposite of helpful. The other ideas about painting the stand or offering biscuits aren't in the story. Concept tested, identifying problem-solving actions. We're recognizing how Ella used her creativity to solve the problem of the rain. Question 8. Which sentence shows that Ella and Tom's new idea worked? Is it A. Dark clouds rolled in, B. steam rose from the pan, C. Walkers tasted a free sample and nodded happily, or D. Tom sighed loudly? The correct answer is C. Walkers tasted a free sample and nodded happily. This sentence shows that customers liked the hot lemonade. They nodded happily, which is a great sign, and then people lined up to buy it. Dark clouds rolled in is the problem they were trying to solve. Steam rose from the pan just shows how they made the drink. And Tom sighed loudly shows how he felt before Ella's idea. Concept tested, finding evidence. We're finding the specific sentence that proves their idea was a success. Question 9. What is the main lesson of this story? We have 4 choices. A. Always bring an umbrella. B. Rainy days are boring. C. Creativity can turn a problem into success. Or D. Selling drinks is easy. The correct answer is C. Creativity can turn a problem into success. Remember, the story really focuses on how Ella found a clever way to make the rainy day fun and profitable. The last line of the story tells us that the best ideas sometimes come when things don't go as planned, which is why creativity is the main lesson here. Why are the others wrong? Well, A is too simple, it's just one small detail. B isn't true according to the story, and D isn't quite right either, because selling drinks wasn't easy. They had to be creative to do it. The concept we're testing here is finding the main idea or theme of the story. Question 10. How do Ella and Tom feel at the end of the story? Are they A. upset, B. proud, C. tired, or D. angry? The correct answer is B. proud, because they sold everything. Remember, the story says they were grinning while counting their money. Grinning shows they were happy and pleased with what they did. The other answers are wrong, because the story tells us the opposite. They made money, they had customers, and they were happy. This question asks us to figure out how the characters feel based on what they did and what the story says. This is called inferring character feelings. All right, let's move on to section 3. What is recycling? Question 11. Which 3 of these items can you recycle? Is it A. paper, glass, and plastic, B. wood, sand, and silver, C. stones, bricks, and carpet, or D. apples, milk, and cheese? The correct answer is A. paper, glass, and plastic. The story tells us that we put these items into special bins for recycling. The other options list things that the story doesn't mention can be recycled. Here, we're practicing specific detail retrieval. That means finding information that is clearly written in the text. Question 12. Where did the recycling trucks take the recycled items? A playground, B, a recycling center, C, a sweet shop, or D, the zoo? The correct answer is B, a recycling center. The story says the trucks go to a large recycling center. The other places don't make sense for recycling. Again, we're working in specific detail retrieval. Finding the exact information in the text. Question 13. What happens to the materials when they get to the recycling center? Are they A, melted or pressed into new shapes, B, hidden underground, C, painted bright colors, or D, fed to animals? The correct answer is A, they are melted or pressed into new shapes. The story explains how machines wash, crush, and melt the materials to make new things. The other answers are not what happens at a recycling center. This question is about understanding a process or knowing the steps of what happens to the materials. Question 14. Recycling helps to save energy. Which word means the same as save in this sentence? A. Waste. B. Use up. C. Protect. Or D. Break. The correct answer is C. Protect. When we save energy, we are protecting it from being wasted. The other words don't mean the same thing as save in this sentence. This is vocabulary in context, understanding what a word means based on how it's used. Question 15. Why is recycling good for wildlife? A. It makes forests colder. B. It keeps litter out of natural habitats. C. It teaches animals to sort rubbish. Or D. It gives animals shiny toys. The correct answer is B. It keeps litter out of natural habitats. Recycling helps keep rubbish out of landfills, which protects the homes where animals live. The other options don't make sense. This question asks us to inference and understand purpose, figuring out why something is important based on the information we have. Question 16. Which sentence best sums up the whole passage about recycling? A. Recycling turns old things into new things and helps the planet. B. Recycling trucks are noisy. C. Landfills are the best place for rubbish. Or D. Only glass can be recycled. The correct answer is A. Recycling turns old things into new things and helps the planet. This sentence gives the main idea of what recycling is and why it's important. The other sentences are either small details or wrong information. This is about summarization and main idea, finding the most important message of the story. Now, let's move on to section 4. Find the nouns. Question 17. Yesterday, our team won the football match. Which of the underlined words are nouns? 1. Team. 2. Football. 3. Match. A. One only. B. 1 and 2. C. 2 and 3. Or D. 1 and 3. The correct answer is D. 1 and 3. Team and match are both nouns. A noun is a person, place, or thing. Football is describing the type of match, so it's not a noun here. Here we are, identifying nouns. Question 18. The parrot in the cage squawked loudly. Which of the underlined words are nouns? 1. Parrot. 2. Cage. 3. Loudly. A. 1 only. B. 1 and 2. C. 3 only. Or D. 1 and 3. The correct answer is B. 1 and 2. Parrot and cage are both nouns because they are things. Loudly is how the parrot squawked, so it is not a noun but rather an adverb. Again, we are distinguishing nouns from adverbs. Question 19. During winter, heavy snow covers the mountains. Underlined. 1. Winter. 2. Snow. 3. Mountains. Which of the underlined words are nouns? Is it A. 1 and 2, B. 2 and 3, C. 1 and 3, D. 1, 2, and 3? The correct answer is D. 1, 2, and 3. Why? Well, all 3 underlined words are nouns. Winter is a thing, it's a season. Snow is also a thing that falls from the sky. And mountains are places, so they're things too. The other options are incorrect because they don't include all the nouns. We need to make sure we pick all of them. The concept we're testing here is identifying multiple nouns. This means you need to spot different types of nouns, like common nouns such as snow or concrete nouns such as mountains, within one sentence. Question 20. Sam poured fresh water into the bowl. Underlined. 1. Sam. 2. Water. 3. Bowl. Which of the underlined words are nouns? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. 1 and 2. D. 1, 2, and 3. The correct answer again is D. 1, 2, and 3. Sam is a noun. It's a special kind of noun called a proper noun because it's a specific person's name. Water is a noun. It's a thing you can drink. And bowl is also a noun. It is a thing that holds the water. Why are the other options wrong? This one's pretty straightforward. All three are nouns, so any answer that leaves one out is incorrect. Here, we're testing your ability to identify proper and common nouns. Can you tell the difference between a regular noun like water or bowl and a proper noun like Sam? Question 21. Bright stars twinkled across the night sky. Underlined. 1. Stars. 2. Night. 3. Sky. Which of the underlined words are nouns? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. The correct answer is D. 1, 2, and 3. Stars are things we see in the sky. Night is a concept or a thing, the time when it is dark. And sky is a place, so they're all nouns. The other options are wrong because all three underlined words are nouns in the sentence. This question is checking if you can identify multiple nouns in a sentence, even the ones that are a bit more abstract, like night. Question 22. Grandma baked tasty cookies on Sunday afternoon. Underlined. 1. Grandma 2. Cookies. 3. Sunday. Which of the underlined words are nouns? A. 1 and 2. B. 1 and 3. C. 2 and 3. D. 1, 2, and 3. The correct answer is D. 1, 2, and 3. Grandma is a person, so it's a noun. Cookies are things you eat, so that is a noun too. And Sunday is the name of a day, which makes it a proper noun. The other options are incorrect because all three words are nouns. Here, we're testing if you can identify common nouns like grandma and cookies, and proper nouns like Sunday, all in the same sentence. All right, now let's move on to a different topic. Plurals. Section 5. Plurals. Change f/fe to ves. Sometimes, when we want to make a word that ends in f or fe plural, we need to change the ending. Instead of just adding an s, we drop the f or fe and add ves. Let's see some examples. Question 23. Singular. Leaf. What is the plural of leaf? A. Leafs. B. Leaves. C. Leafs. The correct answer is B. Leaves. The rule is, for most nouns ending in f, you drop the f and add ves. Why are the other options wrong? Leafs is a common misspelling that you should watch out for, and leafs is just not a word. This tests your knowledge of pluralization rules, especially the one for words ending in, quote, f. Question 24. Singular, wolf. What is the plural of wolf? A. Wolves. B. Wolves. C. Wolves. The correct answer is B. Wolves. Just like before, we drop the f and add ves. The other options are incorrect because wolves is not the correct plural form, and wolves isn't a real word. Again, we're practicing the spelling rule for nouns ending in may, waf. Question 25. Singular. Knife. What is the plural of knife? A. Knives. B. Knive. C. Knives. The correct answer is C. Knives. For words ending in fe, we drop the fe and add ves. The other options are incorrect because knives is a common mistake, and knive isn't a word. This question tests the spelling rule for nouns ending in fe. Question 26. Singular. Loaf. What is the plural of loaf? A. Loafs. B. Loaves. C. Loaves. The correct answer is B. Loaves. We drop the f and add ves to make it plural. Why are the others wrong? Because loaves is incorrect, and loaves is just how it sounds when you say it, but it is not how you spell it. This is another question about the spelling rule for nouns ending in f. Question 27. Singular. Calf. What is the plural of calf? A. Calves. B. Calves. C. Calves. The correct answer is A. Calves. We dropped the f and added ves. The other answers are not the right plural forms of the word. This tests the spelling rule for nouns ending in f. Question 28. Singular. Half. Which of these is the plural of half? A. Halves. B. Halves. C. Halves. The correct answer is A. Halves. Why? Well, when we make words like half, plural, and they end in f, we usually change the f to a v and add s. So half becomes halves. The other options are incorrect because halves doesn't follow this rule, and halves is just a misspelling. So the concept we are testing here is applying pluralization rules, specifically for nouns ending in touch F. All right, moving on. Question 29. Choose the sentence that is punctuated correctly. A. Yesterday we went to the beach and built a giant sandcastle. B. Yesterday we went to the beach and built a giant sandcastle. C. Yesterday we went to the beach and built a giant sandcastle. D. Yesterday we went to the beach and built a giant sandcastle. The correct answer is A. Yesterday we went to the beach and built a giant sandcastle. Now, why is this the correct answer? Because it starts with a capital letter, yesterday, and ends with a full stop. All the other words are correctly in lowercase. Let's look at why the others are wrong. Option B has an unnecessary capital on sandcastle. Option C is missing the capital letter at the start of the sentence. And option D is missing the full stop at the end. What's being tested here is sentence punctuation, making sure you know the most basic rules, capital letters at the beginning, and a full stop at the end. Next, question 30. Choose the sentence that is punctuated correctly. A. My brother Oliver plays the piano every Wednesday after school. B. My brother Oliver plays the piano every Wednesday after school. C. My brother Oliver plays the piano every Wednesday after school. D. My brother Oliver plays the piano every Wednesday after school. The correct answer is A. My brother Oliver plays the piano every Wednesday after school. Here's the breakdown. The sentence starts with a capital M. Proper nouns, which are specific names for people like Oliver, and days of the week like Wednesday, are capitalized, and the sentence ends with a full stop. Now, let's see where the other options went wrong. B incorrectly capitalizes brother and doesn't capitalize Oliver. C incorrectly capitalizes the common noun piano. And D is missing the capital letter at the start of the sentence. So this question is testing your knowledge of capitalization of proper nouns. Remember, names of people, places, days, and months need capital letters. All right, let's keep going. Question 31. Choose the sentence that is punctuated correctly. A. In December, Grandma will travel from Paris to visit us for Christmas. B. In December, Grandma will travel from Paris to visit us for Christmas. C. In December, Grandma will travel from Paris to visit us for Christmas. D. In December, Grandma will travel from Paris to visit us for Christmas. The correct answer is C. In December, Grandma will travel from Paris to visit us for Christmas. Here's why. The sentence starts with a capital letter in and ends with a full stop. Proper nouns like December, which is a month, Paris, which is a city, and Christmas, which is a holiday, are all correctly capitalized. Also, grandma is correctly in lowercase because it is being used as a common noun to describe a family relation, not as a direct substitute for her proper name. So where did the other options go wrong? Option A incorrectly capitalizes, quote, grandma. While this is sometimes done when used as a name, here it functions as a common noun. Option B fails to capitalize the proper nouns December and grandma. Option D incorrectly capitalizes the pronoun us. The concept tested here is capitalization of proper nouns and common nouns. This question is testing your ability to capitalize the first word of a sentence in specific names of months, places, and holidays. It also tests the more nuanced rule of when to capitalize a family title, like, quote, grandma, which is only capitalized when used as a direct name. Okay, almost there. Question 32. Choose the sentence that is punctuated correctly. A. Uncle Sam baked apple pies, cherry pies, and peach pies for the fair. B. Uncle Sam baked apple pies, cherry pies, and peach pies for the fair. C. Uncle Sam baked apple pies, cherry pies, and peach pies for the fair. D. Uncle Sam baked apple pies, cherry pies, and peach pies for the fair. The correct answer is A. Uncle Sam baked apple pies, cherry pies, and peach pies for the fair. Here's what makes it right. It has correct capitalization for the start of the sentence, the name Uncle Sam, and the event the fair. It correctly uses a comma to separate the first two items in a list of 3. Why are the others wrong? B is missing the comma in the list. C uses an Oxford comma before and, which is also correct, but A is the provided answer. D is missing capitalization for the name Uncle Sam. This question tests punctuation in a list and specifically the use of commas to separate items in a series, as well as capitalization rules. All right, last one. Question 33. Choose the sentence that is punctuated correctly. A. The book called Treasure Island is one of my favorite adventure stories. B. The book called Treasure Island is one of my favorite adventure stories. C. The book called Treasure Island is one of my favorite adventure stories. D. The book called Treasure Island is one of my favorite adventure stories. The correct answer is A. The book called Treasure Island is one of my favorite adventure stories. What makes it correct? The sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Treasure Island, as the title of a specific book, is a proper noun, and both words are correctly capitalized. Let's see where the others went wrong. B incorrectly capitalizes book. C and D fail to capitalize the title Treasure Island correctly. So this question is all about capitalization of titles. Remember, the main words in a title of a book, film, etc. should be capitalized. I will go through each question, explaining why the correct answer fits perfectly. 34. A. Bright. B. Hungry. C. Tiny. The correct answer is C. Tiny. We're talking about an egg here, and eggs are usually quite small, or as we say, tiny. 35. A. Hatched. B. Rest. C. Crawl. The correct answer is A. Hatched. What happens to eggs? They hatch, meaning they break open and a baby animal comes out. 36. A. Garden. B. Leaf. C. Dots. The correct answer is B. Leaf. Insects often lay their eggs on the underside of a leaf to keep them safe from harm. 37. A. Hungry. B. Yellow. C. Spotted. The correct answer is A. Hungry. When a larva comes out of its egg, it needs to eat a lot, so hungry is the best way to describe it. 38. A. Crawl. B. Rest. C. Bright. The correct answer is B. Rest. After eating so much, the larva needs a long rest so it can change into a pupa. 39. A. Tiny. B. Orange. C. Garden. The correct answer is B. Orange. Orange is a common color for ladybirds. 40. A. Dots. B. Wings. C. 6. The correct answer is A. Dots. Ladybirds are famous for having dots or spots on their shells. 41. A. Wings. B. Bright. C. Crawl. The correct answer is A. Wings. Insects need to open their wings to be able to fly. 42. A. 6B. Spotted. C. Yellow. The correct answer is A. 6. 6 is the only number we have, and it makes sense because they eat more than a certain number of green flies. 43. A. Crawl. B. Garden. C. Hungry. The correct answer is A. Crawl. Ladybirds move around by crawling along surfaces. 44. A. Bright. B. Rest. C. Leaf. The correct answer is A. Bright. If the spots are healthy and clean, they would look bright and shiny. 45. A. Tiny. B. Garden. C. Wings. The correct answer is B. Garden. You're most likely to find ladybirds in a garden where they can find food and shelter. 46. A. Leaf. B. Orange. C. Rest. The correct answer is A. Leaf. A leaf makes a nice quiet corner for an insect to take a break. 47. A. Wings. B. Dot. C. 6. The correct answer is A. Wings. The ladybird's hard shell protects its soft flight wings when it's not flying. So in this section, we practiced reading for context. This means understanding the whole sentence and choosing the word that makes the most sense. Question 48. What fraction of the circle is shaded? Is it A. 1/2, B. 1/3, or C. 1/4? The correct answer is A. 1/2. Here's why. Imagine you cut a pizza into equal slices. The number of total slices is called the denominator. The number of slices you take is the numerator. In this question, the circle is divided into 2 equal parts, so 2 is the denominator. One of those parts is shaded, so 1 is the numerator. That means the fraction is 1/2. If it was 1/3, that would mean 1 part is shaded out of 3 total parts. If it was 1/4, 1 part would be shaded out of 4 total parts. This question tests your basic understanding of what a fraction means. Question 49. What fraction of the circle is shaded here? Is it A. 1/4, B. 1/2, or C. 1/8? The correct answer here is A. 1/4. The circle has been divided into 4 equal parts, so 4 is the denominator. Only one part is shaded, so 1 is the numerator. So the fraction is 1/4. If the answer was 1/2, 2 parts would be shaded. If it was 1/8, the circle would need to be divided into 8 parts. With this question, we're testing how well you can visually identify a fraction from a picture. Question 50. Now, what fraction of this circle is shaded? Is it A, 3/4, B, 1/2, or C, 1/4? The right answer is A, 3/4. Just like before, the circle is divided into 4 equal parts, making 4 the denominator. But this time, 3 parts are shaded, so the numerator is 3. The fraction is 3/4. Remember, 1/2 would mean 2 shaded parts, and 1/4 would mean only 1 shaded part. This tests your ability to identify fractions where the top number is bigger than 1. Question 51. Let's move on to rectangles. What fraction of this rectangle is shaded? Is it A, 2/6, B, 1/3, or C, 4/6? The correct answer is A, 2/6. Count the total number of parts in the rectangle. There are 6, so 6 is the denominator. Now, count how many parts are shaded. There are 2, so 2 is the numerator. The fraction is 2/6. Now, you might notice that 1/3 looks the same as 2/6, and that's because they are equivalent, but the question wants you to write what the diagram shows. In this case, the diagram explicitly shows 2 parts out of 6. Remember, 4/6 would need 4 shaded parts. Here, we want to see if you can translate a picture into a fraction. Question 52. Okay, next rectangle. What fraction of this rectangle is shaded? A, 5/8, B, 6/8, or C, 7/8? The answer is A, 5/8. There are 8 equal parts in total, so the denominator is 8. 5 of those parts are shaded, so the numerator is 5. The fraction is 5/8. If 6 parts were shaded, it would be 6/8, and if 7 parts were shaded, it would be 7/8. This is another question about translating diagrams into fractions. Question 53. Time to simplify. Simplify the fraction 6/12. Is it A, 1/2, B, 1/3, or C, 3/4? The correct answer is A, 1/2. To simplify a fraction, you need to find the largest number that divides evenly into both the top and bottom numbers. For 6/12, that number is 6, so you divide both the numerator and denominator by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So 6/12 simplified is 1/2. The other options are incorrect because they don't follow the rules of simplifying. This question tests your skill in finding the greatest common divisor. Question 54. Simplify 9/15. Is it A, 3/5, B, 2/5, or C, 3/6? The answer is A, 3/5. What's the largest number that goes into both 9 and 15? It's 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. That means 9/15 simplified is 3/5. Remember, the simplified fraction has to be equal to the starting fraction. Question 55. Simplify 8/24. Is it A, 1/3, B, 1/4, or C, 1/8? The correct answer is A, 1/3. The largest number that divides evenly into both 8 and 24 is 8. When we divide both the numerator and denominator, 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 24 divided by 8 is 3. So 8/24 simplified becomes 1/3. Question 56. Simplify 20/25. Is it A, 4/5, B, 3/5, or C, 5/8? A, 4/5 is the correct answer. The largest number that goes into both 20 and 25 is 5. So 20 divided by 5 is 4, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. This gives us a simplified fraction of 4/5. Question 57. Simplify 12/30. Is it A, 2/5, B, 3/5, or C, 2/6? The answer is A, 2/5. What's the largest number that divides evenly into both 12 and 30? It's 6, so 12 divided by 6 is 2, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. That means the simplified fraction is 2/5. If you pick 2/6, you're on the right track because you divided by 2. But that's not the simplest form. Question 58. Last one. Simplify 18/27. Is it A, 2/3, B, 1/3, or C, 4/5? The answer here is A, 2/3. The largest number that divides into both 18 and 27 is 9. 18 divided by 9 is 2, and 27 divided by 9 is 3. The result is 2/3. Why other options are incorrect? These fractions are not equivalent to 18/27. Concept tested. Simplifying fractions. Question 59. Change 11/4 into a mixed number. The options are A, 2 3/4, B, 2 1/4, and C, 3 1/4. The correct answer is A, 2 3/4. Here's why. When you divide 11 by 4, you get 2 with a remainder of 3. The 2 becomes the whole number, and the remainder 3 becomes the new numerator, which you put over the original denominator of 4. The other options are wrong because they are the result of incorrect calculations. This question tests your understanding of how to convert improper fractions to mixed numbers. Remember, we're using division and remainders to do this. Question 60. Change 25/6 to a mixed number. Your choices are A, 4 1/6, B, 4 4/6, and C, 3 5/6. A, 4 1/6 is the correct answer. To solve this, divide 25 by 6. That gives you 4 with a remainder of 1. The 4 is your whole number, and the 1 becomes the new numerator over the original denominator of 6. The other answers are incorrect because they are the result of mistakes in division or finding the remainder. This question is also about converting improper fractions to mixed numbers. Question 61. Now, let's go the other way. Change 7 1/2 to an improper fraction. Is it A, 15 halves, B, 14 halves, or C, 13 halves? The correct answer is A, 15 halves. Here's how to do it. Multiply the whole number 7 by the denominator 2, which equals 14. Then add the numerator 1 to get 15. Keep the original denominator of 2, so the improper fraction is 15 halves. Option B is incorrect because it's what you get when you multiply the whole number and the denominator, but forget to add the numerator. Option C is just an incorrect calculation. This tests converting mixed numbers to improper fractions. Question 62. Change 3 1/3 to an improper fraction. The options are A, 10/3, B, 9/3, and C, 8/3. A, 10/3 is correct. Remember the rule. Multiply the whole number 3 by the denominator 3, which gives you 9. Then add the numerator 1, which makes 10. Keep the denominator as 3. The other options are wrong because they are what happens if you forget to add the numerator, or if you make a mistake in your calculations. This is another problem about converting mixed numbers to improper fractions. Question 63. Convert 5 3/4 to an improper fraction. Is it A, 23/4, B, 22/4, or C, 21/4? The answer is A, 23/4. Multiply the whole number 5 by the denominator 4. That equals 20. Add the numerator 3, and you get 23. Keep the denominator as 4, giving you 23/4. The other options are incorrect because of mistakes in the multiplication or addition steps. And this problem also covers converting mixed numbers to improper fractions. Question 64. Change 32/5 to a mixed number. Your choices are A, 6 2/5, B, 6 1/5, or C, 5 7/5. The correct answer is A, 6 2/5. Divide the numerator 32 by the denominator 5. You get 6 with a remainder of 2. The 6 becomes the whole number, the remainder 2 is the new numerator, and the denominator 5 stays the same. The other options are incorrect because 6 1/5 would come from a remainder of 1. And 5 7/5 isn't a proper mixed number because the fraction part is still improper. This is another question on converting improper fractions to mixed numbers. Question 65. Change 41/8 to a mixed number. Your options are A, 5 1/8, B, 5 1/8, and C, 4 9/8. The correct answer is A or B, 5 1/8. They are the same. When you divide 41 by 8, you get 5 with a remainder of 1. So the whole number is 5, the new numerator is 1, and the denominator stays 8. 4 9/8 is not a proper mixed number. And this is another example of converting improper fractions to mixed numbers. Question 66. Which fraction is equivalent to 3/6? A, 1/2, B, 1/3, C, 3/4. The correct answer is A, 1/2. To find an equivalent fraction, you simplify the given fraction to its lowest terms. The largest number that can divide evenly into both 3 and 6 is 3. Divide both the numerator and denominator by 3, and you get 1/2. The other options aren't equivalent to 3/6. This question tests your knowledge of equivalent fractions. Question 67. Which fraction is equivalent to 4/10? A, 2/5, B, 4/5, C, 3/5. The answer is A, 2/5. To simplify 4/10, find the largest number that divides both 4 and 10, which is 2. Divide both the numerator and denominator by 2, and you get 2/5. The other options are not equivalent to 4/10. And this is another question about equivalent fractions. Question 68. Time for some multiplication. What is 42 times 6? A, 252, B, 262, C, 242. The correct answer is A, 252. 6 times 2 is 12, so write down the 2 and carry over the 1. Then, 6 times 4 is 24. Add the carried over 1 to get 25. The other options are incorrect because of mistakes in the multiplication or carrying steps. This is a multiplication problem that tests your multiplication facts. Question 69. Last question. What is 36 times 8? A, 288, B, 298, C, 278. The answer is A, 288. 8 times 6 is 48. So write down the 8 and carry over the 4. Then 8 times 3 is 24. Add the carried over 4 to get 28. The other options are incorrect due to calculation errors. And this is another multiplication problem for you. Question 70. 57 times 7 equals what? Is it A, 399, B, 389, or C, 409? The correct answer is A, 399. Here's why. When we multiply 7 times 7, we get 49. We write down the 9 and carry over the 4. Next, we multiply 7 times 5, which gives us 35. Then, we add the 4 we carried over, so 35 plus 4 equals 39. So, the final answer is 399. The other options are incorrect because they come from making mistakes when we're doing our multiplication. This question is all about testing your multiplication skills with 2-digit numbers times 1-digit numbers. Question 71. What is 64 times 5? Is it A, 320, B, 330, or C, 340? The correct answer is A, 320. Let's find out why. When you multiply 64 by 5, you start by multiplying 5 by 4. That equals 20. You write down the 0 and carry over the 2. Then, you multiply 5 by 6, which equals 30. Add the 2 you carried over, and you get 32. Put it all together, and you have 320. The other answers are wrong because they would come from making a mistake in your multiplication steps or when you add what you carried over. This question is also about practicing your multiplication facts. Question 72. 28 times 9, what does that equal? A, 252, B, 242, or C, 262? The correct answer is A, 252. Here's how you solve it. We're going to multiply 28 by 9. First, let's do 9 times 8. That's 72. So we write down the 2 and carry the 7. Next, we do 9 times 2, which is 18. Now, we add the 7 that we carried over. So 18 plus 7 equals 25. Put that together, and you get 252. The other answers are incorrect because they are results from making calculation errors in the multiplication steps. This question tests your ability to accurately multiply a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number, including carrying over values. Question 73. Now let's try some division. What is 546 divided by 6? Is it A, 91, B, 90, or C, 92? The correct answer is A, 91. To figure this out, let's use short division. Does 6 go into 5? No, it doesn't. So we look at 54. How many times does 6 go into 54? It goes in exactly 9 times, because 9 times 6 is 54. Now let's look at the last number, 6. How many times does 6 go into 6? Exactly 1 time. Put the 9 and the 1 together, and you get 91. The other options are incorrect because 6 times 90 only equals 540, and 6 times 92 equals 552. This question is testing your short division skills. Question 74. What is 368 divided by 4? A, 92, B, 94, or C, 96? The correct answer is A, 92. Here's how to divide it. How many times does 4 go into 36? It goes in exactly 9 times. How many times does 4 go into 8? Exactly 2 times. So the answer is 92. If you got 94 or 96, that means there was an error in your division. This tests your ability to divide a 3-digit number by a 1-digit number. Question 75. 255 divided by 3, what does that equal? A, 85, B, 84, or C, 86? The correct answer here is A, 85. Let's see why. Does 3 go into 2? No, it doesn't. So we look at 25. 3 goes into 25 8 times because 8 times 3 is 24. That leaves a remainder of 1. We carry that one over to the next digit, making it 15. Now, how many times does 3 go into 15? Exactly 5 times. So the answer is 85. The other answers are wrong because they come from miscalculating the division or the remainder. This tests your ability to do short division when you have to carry a remainder from one place value to the next. Question 76. Now let's switch gears and talk about fractions. What is 5/9 plus 2/9? Is it A, 7/9, B, 8/9, or C, 6/9? The answer is A, 7/9. When you're adding fractions and the bottom numbers, the denominators are the same, you just add the top numbers, the numerators. So 5 plus 2 equals 7. That means the answer is 7/9. The other options are incorrect because they come from either adding the numerators wrong or changing the denominator, and we don't want to do that. This question is about adding like fractions. Question 77. What is 8/10 minus 3/10? Is it A, 1/2, B, 4/10, or C, 6/10? The correct answer is A, 1/2. Here's how to solve it. Because the denominators are the same, you subtract the numerators. 8 minus 3 equals 5. This gives you 5/10. But the question asks for the answer in its simplest form. The largest number that goes into both 5 and 10 is 5. 5 divided by 5 equals 1, and 10 divided by 5 equals 2. So 5/10 simplifies to 1/2. The other options are incorrect results from the subtraction. This question tests subtracting like fractions and simplifying. Question 78. What is 4/7 plus 1/7? Is it A, 5/7, B, 6/7, or C, 7/7? The correct answer is A, 5/7. The denominators are the same, so they stay the same. Add the numerators. 4 plus 1 equals 5. The result is 5/7. The other options would result from an incorrect addition of the numerators. Question 79. What is 9/11 to 4/11? Is it A, 5/11, B, 4/11, or C, 6/11. The correct answer is A, 5/11. Here's why. When you subtract fractions and they have the same denominator, which in this case is 11, you just keep the denominator the same. Then you subtract the numerators. So 9 minus 4 equals 5. That gives us 5/11. The other options are incorrect because they're just wrong results you might get if you made a mistake in the subtraction. This question tests your understanding of subtracting fractions that have the same denominator. These are often called like fractions. Next up, question 80. What is 3/8 plus 3/8? Is it A, 2/4, B, 7/8, or C, 6/8? The correct answer here is C, 6/8. Here's how we got that. Just like with subtraction, when you add fractions with the same denominator, you keep the denominator the same. So we keep the 8. Then you add the numerators. 3 plus 3 equals 6. So the answer is 6/8. Now you could simplify 6/8 to 3/4, but 6/8 is one of the options, and it's the direct result of adding the fractions. The other options are incorrect, because 2/4 is actually equal to 1/2, not 6/8, and 7/8 is just an incorrect sum. This question is testing your skills in adding like fractions. Question 81. What is 6/12 to 2/12? Is it A, 1/3, B, 3/12, or C, 2/12? The correct answer is A, 1/3. Here's how to solve it. First, subtract the numerators. 6 minus 2 equals 4. That gives you 4/12. But we're not done yet. We need to simplify this fraction. What's the largest number that divides evenly into both 4 and 12? It's 4. So 4 divided by 4 equals 1, and 12 divided by 4 equals 3. That means 4/12 simplifies to 1/3. The other options, 3/12 and 2/12, are incorrect because they're just wrong answers you might get if you didn't subtract or simplify correctly. This question tests two things: subtracting like fractions and simplifying fractions. All right, now let's switch gears to geometry. Question 82. An angle measuring 40 degrees is A, acute, B, right, or C, obtuse. The answer is A, acute. Here's the breakdown. An acute angle is any angle that is less than 90 degrees. Since 40 degrees is less than 90 degrees, it's an acute angle. The other options are wrong because a right angle is exactly 90 degrees, and an obtuse angle is bigger than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. So this question is checking if you know your angle classifications: acute, right, and obtuse. Question 83. An angle on a straight line is 180 degrees. If one part of the angle is 65 degrees, what is the other part? A, 115 degrees, B, 125 degrees, or C, 135 degrees? The correct answer is A, 115 degrees. Here's why. Angles that form a straight line always add up to 180 degrees. So to find the missing angle, you subtract the angle you know, 65 degrees, from 180 degrees. That's 180 degrees minus 65 degrees equals 115 degrees. The other answers are incorrect because they're just wrong numbers that you might get if you made a mistake subtracting. This question tests your knowledge about angles on a straight line and your ability to calculate a missing angle. Question 84. A right angle is A, 90 degrees, B, 45 degrees, or C, 180 degrees. The correct answer is A, 90 degrees. Remember, a right angle is defined as an angle that measures exactly 90 degrees. You'll often see it marked with a little square in the corner where the two lines meet. The other options are wrong because 45 degrees is an acute angle and 180 degrees is a straight angle. This question is simply testing if you know the definition of a right angle. Question 85. What is the sum of the interior angles inside a triangle? A, 180 degrees, B, 360 degrees, or C, 90 degrees? The correct answer is A, 180 degrees. This is a fundamental rule in geometry. The three angles inside any triangle, no matter what it looks like, will always add up to 180 degrees. The other options are incorrect because 360 degrees is the sum of the angles in a four-sided shape, like a square, and 90 degrees is the measure of a right angle. This question is testing your knowledge of the triangle angle sum theorem. Question 86. A triangle has two angles, 50 degrees and 60 degrees. What is the third angle? A, 70 degrees, B, 80 degrees, or C, 90 degrees? The correct answer is A, 70 degrees. Here's how to solve it. You know that all three angles must add up to 180 degrees. So first add the two angles you know. 50 degrees plus 60 degrees equals 110 degrees. Then subtract that from 180 degrees to find the missing angle. 180 degrees minus 110 degrees equals 70 degrees. The other options are incorrect because they're just wrong answers you might get if you made a mistake in your calculations. This question tests how well you can use the triangle angle sum theorem to find a missing angle. Last one. Question 87. A quadrilateral has angles of 110 degrees, 85 degrees, and 95 degrees. What is the missing angle? A, 70 degrees, B, 65 degrees, or C, 75 degrees? The correct answer is A, 70 degrees. Here's the solution. The angles inside any quadrilateral always add up to 360 degrees. So first add up the angles you know. 110 degrees plus 85 degrees plus 95 degrees equals 290 degrees. Then subtract that sum from 360 degrees. 360 degrees minus 290 degrees equals 70 degrees. The other options are incorrect because they're simply the wrong result from the calculation. This question is testing your knowledge of the quadrilateral angle sum rule and your ability to calculate a missing angle. These questions test our vocabulary and word-building skills. In each question, we need to find one letter that fits into both pairs of word fragments to create real words. Question 88. Hill, 8 fall. The options are A, L, B, M, C, P, D, R. The correct answer is A. L. Why? Because the letter L correctly completes the first word and starts the second word in both pairs. So hellate becomes hell and late, and fallame becomes fall and lime. See how the L fits perfectly to make two new words for each set? The other options are incorrect because they don't form valid words in both pairs. For example, using M would create helm and mate, which are fine, but FALM isn't a word we usually use. Concept tested. Word formation / vocabulary. We are using our word knowledge to find a letter that bridges two word parts. Question 89. HEA, OGLA, OR, AD, BT, CG, DR. The correct answer is A, D. Letter D completes both pairs of words. HEADOG becomes head and dog. La Dior becomes lad and door. The other letters don't work because they don't create real words in both pairs. For instance, T makes heat and tog, but LATOOR isn't a word. Concept tested. Word formation / vocabulary. Question 90. CA, Anisto, IG, AP, BS, CN, D, L. The correct answer is A, P. P completes both pairs. CAPN becomes CAP and pen. Santo, PIG becomes stop and pig. The other letters don't work. For example, N creates can and EN, but NEN isn't a word. Concept tested. Word formation / vocabulary. Question 91. HEA, umpire, re, AT, BD, CM, DB. The correct answer is A, T. Letter T completes both pairs of words. HEATIME becomes heat and time. Party becomes part and tree. The other letters don't make four valid words. M creates heum, which isn't a real word. Concept tested. Word formation / vocabulary. Question 92. Buy, oat do, ape, AG, BC, CR, D, L. The correct answer is A, G. Letter G completes both pairs of words to form. BIGOAT becomes big and goat. Dujape becomes dog and gap. The other letters just don't fit and make real words. If we try L, we get BIL, which isn't a common word, and loat. Concept tested. Word formation / vocabulary. Question 93. T. Ilk fur. Ove. AM. BN. CT. DS. The correct answer is A. Letter M is what we need. T. M ilk becomes team and milk. Fire and move becomes firm and move. The other letters don't work for both pairs. S makes tease and silk, which is okay, but furs and SOVE doesn't work. Concept tested. Word formation / vocabulary. Question 94. Santa. Inbia. AR. B. L. CP. DK. The correct answer is A. R. Letter R completes the words like this. Santa Ain becomes star and rain. B. R becomes bear and roof. The other letters just don't make sense when you try to make words. Concept tested. Word formation / vocabulary. Question 95. Fis and wit at AH. BS. CR. DK. The correct answer is A. H. Letter H completes both pairs of words. Fis, H, and becomes fish and hand. Wit, H at becomes with and hat. The other letters don't work. S makes fis, which isn't a word we use. Concept tested. Word formation / vocabulary. So, in summary, we are looking for a letter that, when inserted in the middle of two sets of incomplete words, creates 4 new valid words.
So now I'm going to be going through the answers to the MVR section of this homework. So the first section is the odd one out questions. So you've just got to see which shape is different to the rest. So for these, I'll just start by saying what the answer is and then explain why. So for question 96, E is the odd one out. Because in all the rest, there's double the number of lines than there is arrows. So there's 1 arrow, there's 2 lines, 2 arrows, and there's 4 lines. So double the number of lines than there is arrows. So 2 arrows, got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, 1 arrow, 2 lines. Whereas with E, we've got 1 arrow, but we've got 1, 2, 3, we've got 4 lines. So E is the odd one out. Next question. So this one, the odd one out, is D. That's because in all the rest of them, there is 1 more line than there is pluses. So we've got 1 plus, we've got 2 lines, we've got 2 pluses, and we've got 1 more line, 1, 2, 3 lines. We've got 3 pluses, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. And we've got 2 pluses and 1, 2, 3. Whereas with D, we've got 1, 2, 3 pluses, and we've got 1, 2, 3 lines. So we've got, in D, we've got equal number of pluses to lines, and there should be 1 more line than there is a plus. Next question. Here, the odd one out is E. That's because in all the rest, there is more lines on one side compared to the other. So here, clearly there's more lines here. Here, there's more lines on this side. More lines on this side. In D, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So there's more lines on this side. Whereas with E, there's 1, 2, 3 lines on that side, and 1, 2, 3, 3 lines on that side. So equal number of lines on each side. So E is the odd one out because there should be more lines on one side of the vertical line. Next question. So here, the odd one out is A. That's because in all the rest, there's 3 different shapes in each. So I'm not going to go through each one, but if you just look at them, B, C, D, and E, in all of them, there's 3 different shapes. None of them have 2 of the same shape. Whereas with A, we've got 2 squares, so 2 of the same shape. So A is the odd one out. Next question. So here the odd one out is C, and that is because in all the rest, we've got two shapes in front of the rectangle. So here we have the triangle and hexagon in front. Here the triangle and circle in front, triangle and circle in front, hexagon and circle in front. And we've got one shape behind the rectangle. So circle behind, hexagon behind, triangle behind. Whereas with C, all three shapes are in front of the rectangle. There's no shape behind it, when there should be one shape behind and two of them in front. Now onto the series questions. So here, the shape is rotating 90 degrees. 90 degrees clockwise, so in that direction. So that means that we're going to have two squares that are overlapping like that, and this one is going to be the black one. So that means we can rule out B because they're the wrong way around. This one should be black. Rule out C because that's vertical when it should be horizontal. And we can rule out E because this is again white when it should be black. So we're left with B and D. For the MVR questions, always rule stuff out as you go along because it makes things easier. Because then, so we figured out one pattern, like which way around the colour should be. And now we need to focus on the next bit. But we'll only have to look at two of the answer options, A and D, instead of looking at all of them. That's why you should rule them out. So next, the difference between A and D, and also look at the options you have and see what's different between them. Because if you figure something out, but all of them have that anyway, then it's pointless. It's just wasting your time. So here, the lines are vertical in the middle square where they overlap. Here they're horizontal. So the lines also are rotating 90, not 90 degrees more, 45 degrees clockwise as well. So they're like this, and they tilt slightly. So in this one they're going to be horizontal, and then they go and tilt again. They're going to be horizontal, so that means that the answer is D, not A. Also, I'm just going to draw a line in between these so you don't start looking at answer option A as part of the series, which is what I was doing earlier. Quite confusing. So here, I'm just going to look at the outside colour. So it goes from being grey to black to white, and then this one, then black. So that means here it's going to be grey. So we can rule out A and D and E. Oh, sorry, not E. A and D. And then B, C, and E all have the outer one as being grey, so that's fine. And then if we look at it, the ones that have the same colour on the outside, the rest of the colours are the same as well. So this one is exactly the same as this one. This one will be exactly the same as this one, so it should go grey, black, white. B and C both do that. E doesn't. E goes grey, white, black, so that's wrong. And now to determine between B and C. The difference between B and C is whether it's at the top or the bottom. So the top, then bottom, then top, then top. So here it's going to be at the bottom. So the answer is C, not B. Next question. So here, let's just focus on the number of circles. So from the first to the second, we've lost that one. And then we've only got one at the top here, and then we've got none. So we go 4, 3, 1, 0. So that must mean there's 2 here. So we can rule out A. We can rule out C because they've both got 3. And that's fine. And then also, the circles should be at the top because we're removing them from the bottom. So we're going to remove this one next, and then we'll remove this one to leave us with that one. So that means we can rule out B because they're at the bottom here. Now between D and E. D and E, the difference is the number of the direction of the triangles. So they're pointing up in all of these. So that's why the answer is E, because in D they're pointing downwards. Next question now. So this time we've got the empty box at the start. That's fine. So I'm just going to focus on the line with the circles attached. So it's at the bottom, then it's at the side, then here, then here. So so the whole shape is moving 90 degrees clockwise. So in the previous one, the circle will be here, arrow one will be here, because the pattern is the same. It goes the arrow one is in between the circle one and the square one, so it'll be the same in this one as well. So that's what it should look like. So looking at the answers, it should be sorry, actually made a bit of a mistake there, guys. Sorry about that. I've drawn it the wrong way around. The circle one should be on this side, and arrow one in the middle, and the square one there. I basically draw it exactly how it was in the second box. So yeah, just shows that anyone can make mistakes, guys. So that must mean that the answer is B, because it goes square, triangle, circle. The rest is just, A is just wrong because it mismatches squares and circles on the same line. C is wrong because it should be vertical, not horizontal. And D is wrong because it's basically done what I did, and then the circle on this side, the squares on that side. Next question. So here I'm just going to look at the 3/4 of the circle. So it goes black, grey, white, black. So that must mean it's grey, this one. So we can rule out B and D. Next thing, this is always white. So we can rule out A, because it's black here. And now we're left with C and E. So the difference between C and E is whether the lines are vertical or horizontal. So we go from vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. So that must mean they're vertical, this one. So the answer is C, not E. Now onto reflections. So for these, don't try and draw the whole shape out, because that's going to confuse you. Just focus on one section. So I'm just going to focus that there's one arrow sticking out, pointing towards the mirror line. So there's going to be an arrow. So I'll push the mirror line there. There's going to be an arrow pointing towards it on this side. So A has that, B has that. C doesn't have that. There's no arrow there when there should be. D doesn't have that. E does. So we've already ruled out 2. That's good. Now let's focus on another bit. So here we've got 2 arrows pointing down that are basically just below the top arrow. A doesn't have that, because as you can see, these are not directly below, and also it has this arrow pointing up, but there's no arrow pointing up there. So A is not the answer. B does have these 2 arrows, so we'll leave that in for now. Just check it's not E. E is not the answer because it's only got 1 arrow pointing down. So B is the answer because it's got the 2 arrows pointing down. So we didn't have to focus on the whole shape, we just focused on certain aspects of it. We'll do the same here. This one, don't get caught out by this, but the mirror line is at the bottom here. So we're going to be reflecting it downwards. So I'm just going to focus on the lightning bolt first. So the lightning bolt is going to be pointing towards it, towards the mirror line like that. So that means it's not A, because it's pointing the wrong direction. B is fine. C is not fine, wrong direction. D is fine. E is wrong, it's pointing downwards when it should be pointing up. So we're left with B and D. One difference between B and D is whether this is pointing up or it should be pointing down in the reflection. So here it's pointing towards the mirror line, so down. So here it'll be pointing up towards the mirror line. So that means the answer is B, because it should be pointing up, not down. Last question. So here, I'm gonna just focus on the circles with the pluses in. So we've got 2 circles with a plus in. So A has that, B has that. C didn't have that, it's got crosses instead of pluses. So we've ruled that out. Next thing, the arrow should be pointing it's pointing like that there. So in the mirror line, it should be pointing that way like that. So we can rule out E because it's pointing in the wrong direction. Next thing, A, B and D. So if we look at that, A is fine, B is fine, D is not, because that looks different. And then the difference between A and B is whether the arrow has these diagonal lines or it has horizontal lines. A matches, B does not, because it has these horizontal lines going through it. And that's the end of the MVR questions.
Words that have similar meanings. Question 109. Generous. The choices are A, kind, B, selfish, C, quiet, D, rude. The correct answer is A, kind. Now, why is that? Well, generous means you're ready to give more than what's expected, whether it's your time or your toys. Kind means you're friendly and considerate. See how those meanings are alike? Why are the other options wrong? Selfish and rude are actually the opposite of generous, so they're out. Quiet just doesn't have anything to do with being generous. The concept we're testing here is your vocabulary, specifically how well you know your synonyms. Question 110. Jolly. A, happy. B, sad. C, angry. D, calm. The correct answer is A, happy. Jolly means you are happy and cheerful, and happy is basically the same thing. Sad and angry? Those are opposites. Calm is a feeling, but it is not the same as being jolly. Again, we're checking your vocabulary skills. Question 111. Honest. A, truthful. B, clever. C, kind. D, rude. The correct answer is A, truthful. If you're honest, you don't lie, you are truthful. Clever, kind, and rude, those are all describing different things about a person, but they don't mean the same thing as honest. And you guessed it, this is another test of your vocabulary and your synonym knowledge. Question 112. Bright. A, dull. B, dark. C, smart. D, slow. The correct answer is C, smart. Now this one's a little tricky. Bright can mean shining, like the sun, but it can also mean someone is smart. In this question, we're using bright to mean smart. Dull and dark are the opposite of bright when we're talking about light. Slow is the opposite of bright when we are talking about someone's intelligence. This question tests if you know that words can have more than one meaning. Question 113. Vast. A, huge. B, small. C, narrow. D, slow. The correct answer is A, huge. Vast means something is very, very big, like the ocean. Huge also means something is very big. Small and narrow are the opposite of vast. Slow doesn't really fit at all. Vocabulary and synonyms are up next. Question 114. Quiet. A, loud. B, calm. C, noisy. D, sad. The correct answer is B, calm. Quiet can mean not making much noise, but it can also mean peaceful. Calm means peaceful too. Loud and noisy are the opposite of quiet. Sad is just a feeling that doesn't have to do with being quiet. You know what is up. More practice with synonyms. Question 115. Strong. A, weak. B, healthy. C, tall. D, short. The correct answer is B, healthy. Now, strong usually means you have muscles, but it can also mean you're in good shape and healthy. Weak is the opposite of strong. Tall and short are about how high you are, not how strong you are. Here, you are showing that you know words can have similar meanings. Question 116. Happy. A. Joyful. B. Sad. C. Tired. D. Angry. The correct answer is A. Joyful. Happy means you feel good, and joyful means you feel really, really good. Sad and angry are not happy, and tired is also not happy. Vocabulary time again. Question 117. Friendly. A. Kind. B. Rude. C. Funny. D. Clever. The correct answer is A. Kind. If you're friendly, you are nice to others. Kind is also being nice to others. Rude is the opposite of friendly. Funny and clever don't have much to do with being friendly. More synonyms here, kids. Question 118. Slow. A. Fast. B. Steady. C. Quick. D. Tired. The correct answer is B. Steady. Slow means not going very fast. Steady means going at a regular pace, not too fast, which is similar to slow. Fast and quick are the opposite of slow. Tired might make you slow, but it doesn't mean the same thing as slow. And we're back to vocabulary and synonyms. Section, plurals. Okay, first up, question 119. If we have one box, what do we call many of them? Is it A, boxes, B, boxes, C, box, or D, boxies? The correct answer is A, boxes. Here's why. When a noun ends in -s, she, ch, -x, or -z, we usually add s to make it plural. So one box, many boxes. The other options just don't follow the rules of English, so they are grammatically incorrect. This question tests your knowledge of pluralization rules, especially for words ending in -x. Next, question 120. What's the plural of child? Is it A, childs, B, children, C, childs, or D, children? The correct answer is B, children. Child is a bit special because it's what we call an irregular noun. That means it doesn't follow the standard rules for making something plural. We don't just add an S, instead, child becomes children. You just have to remember this one. So this question is all about irregular plurals and whether you've memorized those non-standard forms. Moving on to question 121. What's the plural of tooth? Is it A, tooths, B, teeth, C, tooths, or D, tooths? The correct answer is B, teeth. Like child, tooth is another irregular noun, but instead of adding something to the end, the vowel sound changes. The oo in tooth changes to ee in teeth. Again, we're testing irregular plurals here, but this time focusing on that vowel change. Question 122. What is the plural of foot? A, feets, B, foots, C, feet, D, footies. The correct answer is C, feet. Explanation. Foot is another irregular noun where the vowel sound changes to form the plural feet. Question 123. Singular. Leaf. A. Leaves. B. Leaves. C. Leaves. D. Leaves. Correct answer. A. Leaves. Explanation. For most nouns ending in quote f, the plural is formed by changing the f to a v and adding quote s. Section. Finding nouns. All right, let's switch gears. In this section, we're going to identify the nouns in the sentences. Remember, a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. Question 124. The cat ran across the yard. The correct answers are cat and yard. Cat is an animal, so it's a thing. Yard is a place. Easy peasy. Question 125. We will go to the park tomorrow. The correct answer is park. Park is a place, so it's a noun. We is a pronoun. We'll talk about those later. And tomorrow tells us when, so it's an adverb. Question 126. She wore a beautiful dress to the party. The correct answers are dress and party. Dress is a thing you wear, and party is an event, which is also a thing in this case. Question 127. The teacher taught us a new lesson. The correct answers are teacher and lesson. Teacher is a person, and lesson is a thing or idea that is being taught. Question 128. The dog is playing in the garden. The correct answers are dog and garden. Dog is an animal, so it's a thing. And garden is a place. Section, close. For this section, we're going to fill in the blanks using the words from the word bank. Question 129. One day, the dog, blank, through the garden. Word bank. Jumped, ran, quickly, scared, loudly. The correct answer is jumped. We need a verb to describe what the dog is doing, and jumped makes the most sense in this sentence. Question 130. It was running very blank because it was word bank. Jumped, ran, quickly, scared, loudly. The correct answer is quickly. We need an adverb to describe how the dog was running, and quickly fits perfectly. Question 131. Because it was blank of the loud noise. Word bank. Jumped, ran, quickly, scared, loudly. The correct answer is scared. We need an adjective to describe how the dog was feeling, and scared makes the most sense. Question 132. It blank to the gate and stopped. Word bank. Jumped, ran, quickly, scared, loudly. The correct answer is ran. We need a verb to describe how the dog got to the gate, and ran is the best choice. Question 133. The children blank to school on a word bank. Walked, loudly, danced, sunny. Correct answer, walked. Detailed explanation. Now, what kind of word do we need here? We need a verb, which is a word that tells us what someone is doing. So out of our choices, walked makes the most sense, right? It tells us how the children got to school. Question 134. On a blank morning, word bank, walked, loudly, danced, sunny. Correct answer, sunny. Detailed explanation. What kind of word are we looking for now? We need a word to describe the morning. That's called an adjective. Which of these words describes the morning? Sunny is the perfect fit. Question 135. They blank happily and sang their favorite songs. Word bank, walked, loudly, danced, sunny. Correct answer, danced. Detailed explanation. Okay, we need another verb here, another action word. The children are happy and singing. What's a fun thing to do when you're happy and singing? Danced fits perfectly because it shows they're joyful. All right, let's switch gears to maths, mixed. Question 136. Reduce 12/16. Correct answer, 3/4. Detailed explanation. Now, to reduce a fraction, we need to find the greatest common divisor, or GCD. That's the biggest number that divides evenly into both 12 and 16. In this case, it's 4, so we divide both the top and bottom numbers by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 12/16 reduced is 3/4. Question 137. Reduce 18/24. Correct answer, 3/4. Detailed explanation. What's the biggest number that divides evenly into both 18 and 24? It's 6. So 18 divided by 6 is 3, and 24 divided by 6 is 4. Again, we get 3/4. Question 138. Reduce 14/28. Correct answer, 1/2. Detailed explanation. The greatest common divisor of 14 and 28 is 14 itself. If we divide both numbers by 14, we get 1 on top and 2 on the bottom. 1/2. Question 139. Reduce 30/45. Correct answer, 2/3. Detailed explanation. The GCD here is 15. 30 divided by 15 is 2, and 45 divided by 15 is 3. So 30/45 reduced is 2/3. Question 140. Reduce 20/25. Correct answer, 4/5. Detailed explanation. The greatest common divisor of 20 and 25 is 5. Divide both by 5/20 divided by 5 equals 4. 25 divided by 5 equals 5. The result is 4/5. Now let's move on to converting fractions. Question 141. Convert 3.5 to an improper fraction. Correct answer, 7/2. Detailed explanation. To convert a mixed number like this, first we multiply the big number, 3, by the bottom number of the fraction, 2. That's 3 times 2, which equals 6. Then we add the top number, 1, to that result. 6 plus 1 is 7. We keep the same bottom number, 2. So 3.5 becomes 7/2. Question 142. Convert 5 2/3 to an improper fraction. Correct answer, 17/3. Detailed explanation. Now we multiply the whole number 5 by the denominator 3. 5 times 3 equals 15. Add the numerator 2. 15 plus 2 equals 17. Keep the denominator 3. The result is 17/3. Question 143. Convert 4 3/4 to an improper fraction. Correct answer, 19 quarters. Detailed explanation. To convert a mixed number to an improper fraction, you multiply the whole number 4 by the denominator 4, which equals 16. Then you add the numerator 3 to that result. 16 plus 3 equals 19. The denominator 4 stays the same. Therefore, the correct improper fraction is 19 quarters. Question 144. Convert 6 1/5 to an improper fraction. Correct answer, 31 fifths. Detailed explanation. We're doing the same thing here. Multiply 6 by 5, which gives us 30. Then add the 1 on top. 30 plus 1 equals 31. Keep the 5 on the bottom, so 6 1/5 is the same as 31 fifths. Question 145. Convert 7 3/8 to an improper fraction. Correct answer, 59 eighths. Detailed explanation. We multiply the whole number 7 by the denominator, 8. 7 times 8 equals 56. Add the numerator, 3. 56 plus 3 equals 59. Keep the denominator, 8. The result is 59 eighths. Okay, let's go the other way now, from improper fractions back to mixed numbers. Question 146. Convert 9 quarters to a mixed fraction. Correct answer, 2 1/4. Detailed explanation. To do this, we divide the top number, 9, by the bottom number, 4. How many times does 4 go into 9? It goes in 2 times, because 2 times 4 is 8. But we have a remainder of 1, because 9 minus 8 equals 1. So the big number is 2, the new top number is the remainder 1, and we keep the same bottom number, 4. So 9 quarters becomes 2 1/4. Question 147. Convert 11 thirds to a mixed fraction. Correct answer, 3 2/3. Detailed explanation. Divide 11 by 3. 11 divided by 3 equals 3 with a remainder of 2. The whole number is 3, the new numerator is 2, and the denominator is 3. The result is 3 2/3. Question 148. We need to change 17 fifths into a mixed fraction. Remember, a mixed fraction has a whole number part and a fraction part. So how many times does 5 go into 17? It goes in 3 times, right? Because 3 times 5 is 15. Now, what's left over? 17 minus 15 is 2. So we have 3 whole times and then 2 left over. We write that remainder as a fraction over the original denominator. The answer is 3 2/5. Question 149. Okay, let's try another one. Let's convert 23/6 into a mixed fraction. How many times does 6 go into 23? Well, 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 times 4 is 24, which is too big. So 6 goes into 23 3 times. What's the remainder? 23 minus 18 is 5. So our mixed fraction is 3 5/6. Question 150. Here we go, next one. Let's convert 29 eighths to a mixed fraction. What is it? So how many times does 8 go into 29? 8 times 3 is 24, and 8 times 4 is 32. 32 is too big, so 8 goes into 29 3 times. What's the remainder this time? 29 minus 24 is 5. So our mixed fraction is 3 5/8. Question 151. Which of these fractions is the same as 2/3? Is it A 4/9, B 3/6, C 6/9, or D 5/12? Remember, equivalent fractions are just the same amount, but with different numbers. The answer is C 6/9. To get an equivalent fraction, you multiply both the top and bottom numbers by the same amount. So if we multiply 2/3 by 3/3, that gives us 6/9. The other answers are wrong because you can't multiply both the top and bottom of 2/3 by the same number to get those fractions. 4/9 and 5/12 are already in simplest form, and 3/6 can be simplified to 1/2. This tests your knowledge about equivalent fractions. Question 152. What is 7 times 6? That's right, it's 42. Keep practicing those times tables. Question 153. What is 9 times 8? You got it, it's 72. Question 154. What is 12 times 4? It is 48. Question 155. Now what is 15 times 5? This one might be a little trickier, but you can break it down. 10 times 5 is 50, and 5 times 5 is 25. So 50 plus 25 is 75. Question 156 to 8 times 7? Correct. It's 56. Question 157 to 72 divided by 8? Exactly, it's 9. Remember, division is just the opposite of multiplication. Question 158 to 120 divided by 10? This is an easy one. When you divide by 10, you just take off a 0. So the answer is 12. Question 159. Last one. What is 189 divided by 7? This one's a little harder, so we can do short division. 7 goes into 18 2 times with 4 remaining. Then 7 goes into 49 7 times. So the answer is 27. Passage about Timmy the Turtle and answer some questions together. Question 160. Where did Timmy the Turtle live? Was it A, in a forest, B, in a pond, C, in a cave, or D, on a mountain? The correct answer is B, in a pond. Remember that first sentence? It told us Timmy was a small turtle who lived in a peaceful pond. That's where he called home. The other options are incorrect because the story doesn't mention anything about Timmy living in a forest, a cave, or on a mountain. This question tests if you can remember a detail right from the beginning of the story. Question 161. What did Timmy find near the rock? Was it A, a leaf, B, a flower, C, a golden coin, or D, a stone? The correct answer is C, a golden coin. Do you recall what Timmy saw when he was near the rock? The passage says, he saw that it was a beautiful golden coin. So a leaf, a flower, and a stone aren't the right answers here. This is another question about finding a specific detail from the story. Question 162. Who were Timmy's friends? Was it A, a bird, a squirrel, and a rabbit? B, a frog, a fish, and a dragonfly? C, a rabbit, a fox, and a turtle? Or D, a cat, a dog, and a fox? The correct answer is B, a frog, a fish, and a dragonfly. The text tells us he had many friends, like Sally the frog, Benny the fish, and Lizzie the dragonfly. The other options are incorrect because they mention animals that weren't listed as Timmy's friends in the story. This question is all about remembering the characters Timmy hung out with. Question 163. What did Timmy think the golden coin might be? Was it A, a map, B, a treasure chest, C, a gift from the wind, or D, a shiny rock? The correct answer is C, a gift from the wind. Remember, Timmy was thinking about where the coin came from. The passage says Timmy thought about showing the coin to his friends, but he wanted to figure out its story first. Maybe it had fallen from a treasure chest, or perhaps it was a gift from the wind. So while he did think it might be from a treasure chest, another idea he had was that it was a gift from the wind. A map was Lizzie's idea, not Timmy's, and it wasn't just a shiny rock. This question checks if you understand what Timmy himself was thinking. Question 164. How did Timmy feel about his friends? Was he A, sad and lonely, B, happy and excited, C, angry and upset, or D, scared and nervous? The correct answer is B, happy and excited. When his friends arrived, Timmy couldn't keep the secret any longer, and they were all very excited. Plus, at the end, he realized that having friends was more important than the coin itself, so he must have felt good about them. The other options don't fit because the story shows Timmy having positive feelings, not negative ones like sadness, anger, or fear. This question is about understanding how Timmy felt based on what happened in the story. Question 165. What did Benny the fish suggest about the coin? Did he think it was from an old pirate ship, B, it was a treasure map, C, it was a gift from Timmy, or D, it was just a shiny rock? The correct answer is A, it was from an old pirate ship. The text says, maybe it's from an old pirate ship, suggested Benny the fish. The other suggestions are incorrect. Remember, the treasure map idea was Lizzie's, and the others weren't said at all. This question tests whether you can remember which friend said what. Question 166. What did Lizzie the dragonfly think the coin might be? Was it A, a map, B, a treasure chest, C, a gift from the wind, or D, a toy? The correct answer is A, a map. Remember when Lizzie said, or maybe it's a treasure map? She was using her imagination, thinking about where the coin could lead them. Why are the other answers not correct? Well, Timmy thought it might be a treasure chest or a gift from the wind, but the question specifically asks what Lizzie thought. And a toy wasn't mentioned at all. So the important thing here is to remember who said what. This question tests if you can remember specific details and who said them. Question 167. What did the friends do after looking for more coins? Did they A. Go to sleep, B. Play games in the pond, C. Find another coin, or D. Go home? The correct answer is B. They played games in the pond. The story tells us that even though they didn't find more coins, they still had fun together. They swam and played games in the pond. The other options aren't quite right. They didn't find another coin. The story says they played together before going home, and it definitely wasn't time for sleep yet. This question checks if you understood the order of events in the story. Question 168. What was the most important thing to Timmy by the end of the story? Was it A. Finding treasure, B. Having fun with his friends, C. Going on adventures alone, or D. Keeping the golden coin? The correct answer is B. Having fun with his friends. Remember, Timmy realized that having good friends to share adventures with was more important than any treasure. The other answers are incorrect because by the end, Timmy understood that treasure and keeping the coin weren't as important as friendship. And he certainly didn't want to go on adventures alone. This question helps us understand the big message or lesson of the story. Question 169. Finally, what did Timmy do with the golden coin? Did he A. Bury it, B. Throw it away, C. Keep it as a reminder, or D. Give it to his friends? The correct answer is C. He kept it as a reminder. The story ends by saying Timmy kept the coin to remember the fun day they had. The other options are wrong because the story doesn't say anything about burying it, throwing it away, or giving it away. He wanted to remember the special day with his friends. This question is all about remembering the specific details at the end of the story. And that wraps up our walkthrough of Year 4 Homework 26. I hope that helped clarify everything.